President of the United States.
Defining the road ahead and giving Iowa a spot on the national stage.
What happened and is still happening to our children over the last 2 years is unconscionable.
How the governor rose to the challenge and the criticism from a Democrat running for her seat.
And our students are not set up for success.
Plus, the impact of the president's infrastructure plan on small town Iowa.
We have to rebuild this structure, one way or the other.
Why the city of Reynolds says those federal funds are crucial for their growth.
And looking for leadership.
We're coming for you, ill-begotten gains.
The strong message from our president as Russia's troops inch closer to Ukraine's capital.
This is Iowa's news leader, KCCI 8 News this morning.
It is 6:30 and we are on a roll. Sunrise is about 16 minutes away and our temperature is starting out close to 40 already. We're going to get close to 70 today. Great days in a row, but today might be the best.
So we all got our car washed yesterday.
I
Can't
did
even
too.
be mad about it with the few raindrops we're dealing with this morning, because when you hear 70 on March 2nd, it's something to smile about, Jason.
It absolutely is. Again, even if you got a couple drops in the morning, knowing the path ahead of you towards greatness, well, that definitely helps. We've got those showers out there right now, though, east of the metro towards Newton, and you can see areas off to the southeast is where the heaviest of those showers are at the moment. Otherwise, a little bit more cloud cover up towards Kossuth County, eastward towards Mason City. Otherwise, if you're headed out for breakfast, maybe have that coffee on the steps because it's looking nice. 45 degrees, 9 a.m. We're back into the middle 50s as we head into those later morning hours. Clouds will eventually break. That's going to mean tons of sunshine. We are looking at a beautiful day.
Well, last night in his State of the Union address, President Joe Biden outlined a path forward and said our union is strong.
And our governor spoke right after. Kim Reynolds contradicted the president, saying America has a long way to go. And Ticia, what was one of the topics they both focused on?
Yeah, so education and keeping kids in school took center stage during both other speeches here. So Mr. Biden says he's all for keeping schools open. And remember, Governor Kim Reynolds' stance on COVID-19 in schools is one of the reasons why the Republican Party chose her to give the rebuttal. Now, last night, the president says he intends to keep school in session and in person.
The vast majority of federal workers will once again work in person. Our schools are open. Let's keep it that way. Our kids need to be in school.
Now, in her rebuttal, Reynolds criticized Democrat leaders for keeping schools closed longer than Republican leaders. She says many kids are now suffering because of virtual learning and not being physically in a classroom.
What happened and is still happening to our children over the last 2 years is unconscionable. Learning loss, isolation, anxiety, depression. In so many states, our kids have been left behind, and so many will never catch up.
Now, KCCI's Amanda Rooker caught up with Deidre Jadir at the Democrats' watch party last night. She's running for governor right now. And remember, Reynolds still hasn't announced whether or not she'll seek re-election. Jadir says the governor's message is far from the truth. Instead of Iowa students leading the way, they're being put in a tough position.
And we see the fruits of that labor in our numbers. Our superintendents are teaching classes. Our teachers are leaving the profession, some of them leaving the state. And our students are not set up for success.
So both the president and the governor talked about the crisis in Ukraine, inflation, and different legislation efforts. So we'll take one last look at those different topics at 6:55 before CBS Morning starts.
We'll keep our eye on all of that. An Iowa City native was there in D.C., one of the First Lady's guests for the State of the Union at the Capitol building. Frances Haugen is a former Facebook data engineer and product manager turned whistleblower. She exposed Facebook for not doing enough to stop misinformation about COVID-19 and the 2020 presidential election. The president took time during his speech last night to thank her. Now, another topic the president touched on was infrastructure. The president touted his accomplishments of getting that package passed.
And he thanked Republicans who reached across the aisle to vote it through.
We won't be able to compete for the jobs of the 21st century if we don't fix it. That's why it was so important to pass the bipartisan infrastructure law. And I thank my Republican friends who joined to invest and rebuild America.
And happening today, the president is traveling to Wisconsin to talk about his infrastructure law some more. Congress passed it last year. Other White House officials are going to be hitting the road as well after the State and the Union. And one spokesperson says they'll be going to red states, blue states, big cities, and small towns.
New this morning, a small city right here in Polk County is applying some of that infrastructure money the president mentioned in his speech.
Yeah, KCCI's Bo Bowman is live in Runnels this morning. And Bo, those federal funds, if they don't come through, how much could the project cost residents?
Well, Eric and Alex, we're at the Runnels wastewater treatment plant, and this is what's standing in the way of the city further expanding. Before they can grow, the sewer system needs an upgrade to meet state permit requirements and increase the capacity for future growth. And that's going to be about a $5 million bill for the city, and that's a big price tag for a city the size of 450 people. They hope to get the money through the federal infrastructure bill, which is designated $638 million to Iowa water projects. But they say applying for grants has been difficult. In towns the size of Runnels, it's usually a one-person operation compared to the bigger cities around the metro that have entire staffs writing these grants. The city's mayor says if they don't get the money from the grants, it could cost residents of Runnels $100 every month on their sewer bill.
People in Runnels can't afford that. And getting grants, forgivable loans is pretty challenging for a town my size.
Now, the mayor there said this project is going to happen one way or another, but that $100 would only be put onto the bills of the people of Runnels if they don't get any money from the federal government. Their deadline for accepting a bid to rebuild the wastewater treatment plant here in Runnels is December 1st. We're live in Runnels. Bo Bowman, KCCI 8 News, Iowa's news leader.
We'll keep an eye on that project, Bo. At 6:37 now, the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine was also a big topic last night. Both President Joe Biden and Governor Kim Reynolds addressed it.
Well, and the governor criticized the Biden administration, saying their actions didn't come soon enough. And the president focused on speaking to Russian leaders.
Tonight, I say to the Russian oligarchs and the corrupt leaders who built billions of dollars off this violent regime, no more. The United States, I mean it.
Weakness on the world stage has a cost, and the president's approach to foreign policy has consistently been too little, too late.
Well, let's go ahead and take a look this morning. We're seeing more damage from eastern Ukraine. Just after 5, we got access to this video. It shows a burning building in Kharkiv. You can see the flames shooting out of the top of that structure there as fire crews doing what they can to put it out. But it's hard to fix and reach. It used to hold Ukraine's Ministry of Emergency Situations. This is Ukraine's second largest city. Russia has been heavily targeting this area. And in the last hour, we learned 4 people have been killed from these attacks, and then several others are injured. Missiles are hitting administrative buildings and residential areas.
Well, we are also hearing from Ukraine's president this morning. He says his country has been through a lot in the last week.
But he also gave them some reassurance. Take a look.
We've hardly slept for 7 nights. Or we sleep, but anxiously. My dears, the time will come when we'll be able to sleep, but it'll be after the war, after the victory.
Now, this comes right as Russia's troops move in closer to Kyiv, the capital city. The 40-mile-long convoy that's been on the way is expected to arrive anytime soon.
Well, and in the middle of all of this, one young woman is thousands of miles from home. And last night, one Central Iowa church showed their support for her country and her family. Organizers held a community prayer service at St. Paul Lutheran Church in State Center. The Ukrainian foreign exchange student says it meant a lot to her.
I think today was very nice, and tonight's service made me feel so calm and comfortable, and I'm so glad lots of people came in to support me here.
Yeah, that support means a lot. A candle lighting ceremony was done to send special prayers to nations that need it. Candles covered the map, especially over Europe. Ola Hinchek says her family lives in western Ukraine and they are safe. She's been able to remain in contact with them. They do have a basement and bomb shelters nearby if they need them.
6:39 now. We know that there could be actually some snow in the forecast tomorrow, so enjoy today, Jason.
Yeah. And more rain is going to be on the way for us, which is something that we have struggled with quite a bit out there. We've had 12 rainy days so far this April, and the longest dry stretch we've had is 4 days. So soil temperatures have only been above 50 degrees for 3 of those days. So it's been pretty difficult for farmers and whatnot, and this month is usually planting season for a lot of farmers. And Nicole, you spoke to one who says this is putting them behind their usual schedule.
Yeah, so farmers are basically in limbo right now and on that wait and see schedule because, as you mentioned, the temperatures are really not ideal for seeds to hit the ground right now. So if you're curious, what is the ideal soil? It should be dry and the ground temperatures should be around 50 degrees. Right now, as we know, parts of the day is still super chilly, as we know, during the day and the morning. So a lot of the lands look like this, just brown and unfilled right now. It does take about 5 months from seed to harvest, and the wetter soil from the cold weather might decrease yields for the season and in turn less money for farmers. Radcliffe farmer Denny Frias' 1,200-acre farm usually produces about 276,000 bushels a year, and last year they were nearly done planting corn, and that's not the case this year.
There's still time this year. We're not in a dire situation by any means, but it's frustrating when we're all wanting to have the corn in the ground now and have nice warm weather. It's what we've planned on, but we'll deal with it. We'll get the corn in.
Frias says this will be a challenge he's watching closely because he has to consider how much is already invested in his prospective crop. Eric?
The White House is responding to inflation. The president's plan to dig the nation out of high prices.
New this morning, helping out Iowa seniors. The benefit giving their fixed incomes a break.
And after a soggy stretch of weather, we've got some nice days ahead. How long you'll be breaking out the shades.
Also new this morning, connections between vaccines and long COVID-19. The pattern research is showing.
KCCI 8 News This Morning starts right now.
Good morning and welcome to the month of June. Yes, we're starting out with some clouds, but as far as temperatures go, today's going to be a pretty nice day.
It's going to be nice out there. And Jason, it sounds like, people should just get out there and enjoy the weather.
You got to. I mean, yes, there's a chance for a sprinkle in spots, but by and large, today is going to be pretty wonderful. I mean, we're starting off in the 50s, and from there, we see those temperatures back up into the low 70s this afternoon. Again, cloud cover all day long, and we could shake out a sprinkle as we head towards the afternoon and evening. But again, a day that's just going to be pretty nice. And if you don't like today's weather, wait for tomorrow. We have got more sunshine on the way. That sunshine is going to continue into Friday as well. We do have some chances for showers and even a few storms for your weekend forecast. I'll have details on those coming up.
Right now in the 6 o'clock hour, the White House is focusing on inflation, and we have team coverage to help explain how this could help your family out. KCCI's Nicole Tam is live in downtown Des Moines with an expanded tax break to help some older Iowans' budgets.
Yeah, so let's start with KCCI's Amy Liu. She is live in our Washington bureau. So Amy, what's the president's plan here?
Well, TC and Eric, we spoke with the director of the National Economic Council who told us about President Biden's three-step plan to addressing inflation. The president says that his top priority is to give the Fed independence free from any kind of political pressure. That's allowed the Fed to play a delicate balancing game, raising interest rates a couple times already, with more to come this year without knocking the economy into a recession. The president is focusing, too, on lowering costs for families like cheaper high-speed internet and prescription drugs. He also wants to lower the federal deficit. Republicans say the president and his policies aren't working and have made the problem worse, but the administration says it's turning to lawmakers to enact bipartisan legislation and help issues with the supply chain.
The president knows how to forge compromise. He's willing to and has shown that he is willing to compromise in order to actually make some progress. And he says consistently the only option that he will take off the table is inaction.
So right now, overall, consumer price indexes or prices just in general are up 8.3% compared to last year. The good news, though, is that some economists believe that the peak of inflation was back in March. Still, it's going to be some time before inflation really tampers back down. Live in Washington, I'm Amy Liu, KCCI 8 News, Iowa's news leader.
Yeah, Amy, we'll see what happens at the stores. Now let's go to KCCI's Nicole Tam. Older Iowans on a fixed income might be feeling the inflation pinch even harder than most.
Yeah, so Nicole, this year more of our state seniors qualify for breaks when it comes to property taxes. So how does this work?
Yeah, TC and Eric, good morning. This change affects Iowans 70 years and older. Now, so for most counties, the deadline to apply is today, but county treasurers have the ability to extend or expand that deadline. So that's what's happening here in Polk County. They've extended that deadline to September 30th. Now, to qualify, applicants must have been an Iowa resident as of December 31st of last year, and their household income must fall below the standard. So for a single person aged 70 and older, that would be less than $32,200. For a family of two in that same age range, it's $43,550. More is listed on your screen there. Aging Resources of Central Iowa has lots of programs that helps out people age 60 and older, and advocates say that this change could be a huge relief for many Iowans.
Anywhere that you can cut corners is always helpful. And this would be a pretty nice corner to cut, I think. So the being able to have a little extra money to pay for medication costs.
So I do have the application right here. It is available online. This is the printed version. And for people who want maximized benefits, they should apply every year. Live in downtown Des Moines, Nicole Tam, KCCI 8 News, Iowa's news leader.
Right now, the White House is shifting priorities.
We are going to have to squeeze this inflation down.
Some of them we can do directly with our executive authority.
The president's plan to help Americans and the new program, Helping Iowans.
New this morning, how some older Iowans can cut some costs out of their budget during this inflation struggle.
Traumatizing memories for some.
He said, "You'll die,"
while others are being buried.
We're just a little boy like growing up.
The heartbreak in Uvalde today as more funerals honor innocent lives.
New this morning, COVID-19 is loosening its grip on Iowa. The new numbers from the state.
Plus, cooling off after an active stretch. The temperatures that'll have you opening up those windows.
This is Iowa's news leader, KCCI 8 News This Morning.
Hey, welcome back. Your time now is 6:30, and we're supposed to take a live look at our downtown Skycam, but why not just look at us? Oh, wait, you know what? Let's just go back to the downtown Skycam. Look at that. Temperature is at 57. It feels like 57. You know what? Today's not going to be a not so bad of a day here.
Yeah, later on in the summer, we're going to have those days where it's hot and stuffy and you have to run the air conditioning. But Jason, this morning is just a nice day to step outside and take a deep breath.
It's comfortable. It's refreshing. It's beautiful outside. I mean, yeah, we're not sunny and we're not going to be sunny today. But you look at the temperatures that we will have, it's going to be very comfortable, and especially factoring in just a very light breeze. It's going to be a beautiful day. Back up into the low 70s this afternoon. Your headlines for the day. Much cooler though. I mean, we're going to be, low 70s today. We don't have much for rain, maybe spotty showers. A lot of sunshine coming though Thursday and Friday. I'll break down that forecast and when rain could impact your weekend plans coming up here shortly.
All right, Jason, right now the White House is shifting its focus to the rising prices hitting Americans' wallets. President Joe Biden listed a lot of proposals in an op-ed for the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah, so a couple of those ideas are improving infrastructure and lowering the cost of child and elder care. The director of the National Economic Council says we're in a good position to get these things done, even if some of those things need congressional support.
We can do that from a position of economic strength because of the historic recovery that we have seen. Strongest job market rebound in modern history. Most small businesses created ever during a recovery.
But the idea does face some pushback in the Senate. Minority Leader Mitch McConnell says this problem was created by the all-Democratic government and excessive spending.
New this morning, some relief is available to older Iowans in the middle of this inflation struggle.
Yeah, so today is the deadline to apply for new expanded property tax assistance for many counties. KCCI's Nicole Tam is live to explain the changes. Good morning, Nicole.
TC and Eric, good morning. And county treasurers actually have the option to extend the deadline if they want to. So here in Polk County, they are doing that, and that deadline has been expanded to September 30th. Many people are welcoming this change because that means more people with higher incomes can now qualify for assistance. Now, this tax relief change came last session, and it was only expanded to Iowans aged 70 years and older. So for a single person, they would need to make less than $32,200 to qualify for the credit. A family of 2 in that same age range must make under $43,550. More is listed on your screen there. Now, the Aging Resources of Central Iowa has lots of programs that helps out people age 60 and older, and advocates say that this change could be a huge relief for many Iowans.
If people are attempting to stay in their home, this property tax credit would certainly provide some needed support for them.
The form to apply is right here. It is available online. If you do need help, the center staff say they would be happy to help. And for people who want to maximize the benefit, they must reapply every year. Live in downtown Des Moines, Nicole Tam, KCCI 8 News, Iowa's news leader.